Hi, and welcome back to the channel. So if you do not know who I am, I'm the person who is usually behind the camera. I am Sydney. I am our lovely host's daughter, and I'm basically on here to talk about apartment living. So if you're wondering where I'm at, I'm on my balcony, which is where I keep most of the plants. I say most of because I have some indoor plants, but they're not happy with me right now. So, because I've been giving all my attention to there is also a cat outside, so you went inside. Go ahead. Go, boo boo. Okay. So she said no. But, no. So the other thing is there's a tree frog out here, and I was talking to my mom about this, about apartment living. One of the things, we live on a wood line, so there's cicadas, there's all types of different gross bugs that I do not like. There are stink bugs, there are spiders, there's just all kinds of bugs. But there are also tree frogs. They're super loud at night, but there is one hidden over here by the squash, and I'm like, for the love of everything. And of course there's a bee right now. I don't know what the bees' obsession is with like being out while people are filming, but we've been attacked by bees. By the time you see this video, you will have seen what happened in the last video when the bee was obsessed with the camera. I don't know if it emits some kind of sound, but there you go. So with apartment living, because I have my lovely little like journal to keep everything like organized. It looks a mess, but it's fine. So basically what I'm talking about is just like apartment living. You typically have living like limited space because, so we used to live in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. Yes, it's been a second. It's been like a year or two. And it had a much smaller balcony, like where the camera basically is. So like me is about the size of our balcony. It was very tiny. We couldn't have a ton of plants, so nothing got super big out there. They're called, the name is like, the common name that most people know it by is wandering Jew. That's not its like scientific name, but that is like the more common, like, I guess like, it's not slang, but term to call it. We had one that got really big, but we didn't overwinter it. And like we tried to bring it in, and then like the pets, and between like the pets and it being cold and all this stuff, it just did not survive. So thankfully we got another one from a friend, and I accidentally propagated this one. And so it is like, there's another, like, so there's a version that's really fluffy right now that's behind the camera, but then there's another one on top of the shelf that we had in the last our very first apartment together. That's like, was where I kept all the plants and all the gardening stuff. But now I've expanded. I think like after I'm done talking, I'll show you how many plants, because I don't think like you're gonna be like, oh, like I can grow 1 or 2 plants. I am growing collard greens, mustard greens, Santa Fe peppers, bell peppers, tomatoes. I'm looking around. Like 3 or 4 types of mint. Squash is out here now. I got rosemary, thyme, lemon trees are out here. There's an avocado tree. There is a bee. Frog, I really hope you eat this bee, because I am not for this. I'm not about this life. I've got bok choy growing out here. I'm also propagating more bok choy because I learned that from my friend Shakayla Taylor, also known as the Power Plate. I will link her information down below. She's amazing to follow. A lot of my tips I learned from my mom growing up, but I also learned from Shakayla more recently as I started to like get more into like growing my own food. There's also basil out here, dill. There's onions out here. I'm trying to remember all of the like things that I can eat that are out here. I also have an avocado tree. I think I mentioned that like behind that. So there's a lemon tree here. There's 2 avocado seeds that I'm propagating. It's just a lot that I'm doing. And one day I'll probably talk about like propagation methods, because avocado seeds are different from lemon seeds, are different from bok choy, are different from, what else have I propagated? Bok choy and onion. You can also propagate like garlic. And I learned that recently, and I believe Shakayla taught me that. And if she didn't, somebody else did on Reels or something. So yeah, when people think of limited space, they're like, well, if I have limited space, I can't do anything at all, or I don't have a green thumb or anything like that. My mom said in her last video, like, if you have not killed 5 plants by now. Like, you're not an intermediate gardener. Like, yes, you're a gardener and stuff like that, but you haven't hit that intermediate level until you've killed at least 5 plants, and then you've at least killed something you've loved, which I've done numerous times. So I feel like I'm at the intermediate level now, because everybody that looks at my garden is like, I don't know how you do this. And to be completely honest, like, garden is very like therapeutic for me at this point. Like, I come out here to decompress and like chill and relax. I'm not a fan of the bees and the critters and stuff, but you know, it's fine. So there's a limited space you have to think about. So for us, like, I bought a shelf to expand some of my space. So it's just like a metal shelf. I can't remember. I either got it from, I might have gotten it from IKEA, but it's like a metal shelf and it has like 4 shelves. And I just put like little pots and plants over there. I probably have older pictures that I can insert or like pop on the screen somewhere. But I have had that. And then so when we upgraded to a balcony, I was like, okay, I have more space. So basically all the plants are lined on the walkway. And I do mean like lining the walkway all around. I'm surprised that we can still walk on here because I keep getting more plants. Probably don't need more plants. But anything that I don't buy, like, that's already growing. So I bought my tomato, my peppers. I don't have good luck with trying to grow those from seed yet. So I've like bought like smaller plants and then just let them come out here. The only peppers that have given me any kind of like veggie or anything are the Santa Fe peppers, which are next to the camera. Again, I'll try to insert a picture or something. And they just keep popping off peppers, and I used them in tacos the other night. They weren't hot, but I didn't just use Santa Fe peppers. I used bell peppers too that I had bought, so we'll see. But yeah, I've lined the walkway with my plants. I have like big tubs for like the greens and stuff because I knew they were going to get big for the basil and dill that are together. And that's another thing you have to think about is like, can I grow certain plants together? Are they complementary? That's something I had to Google because I was like, what can't grow together? Like, what is not going to do well together? So I was like, I think you can put a pepper with a tomato, but I can't remember, so I had to look it up. My mom has done it, so I don't know why I forgot, but you know, that's the thing that happened. So you have to think about your limited space. You have to know your exposure. So my exposure, I was trying to figure this out with my mom. So I have southern exposure. I get a ton, so basically the sun comes up like in this corner and basically goes that way. It's super, super hot. Like right now, I think it's like closer to noon. It is so hot at like 8 o'clock in the morning. It's cloudy today, so you know, it's a great thing that I filmed today, but usually it's like sweltering. Like sometimes I like to sit out with my coffee or something like super early in the morning, but like once like 7:30 or 8 hits, I am like sweating. It's not cute. But so I have southern exposure, so it moves that way. I have a ton of sun in the morning. I get a ton of shade. So because we live on a wood line, the great thing is all of those plants that I know like absolutely love the sun. Like I have a ton of Calais. Like I had already propagated 4 from last year. Again, propagation plants. I had propagated 4 from last year. They are actually the tallest out of everything that all the Calais that I currently have, and I have a lot because I also bought a 10-pack this year of like when they were small. Not all of them survived, but and one of them came back. Like I thought it was dead, but it came back, and I was like, okay. It like they just line like this section behind the camera, and they come in different colors. Hummingbirds, if you're like trying to attract hummingbirds and butterflies and stuff, hummingbirds love sun Calais. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of the way the flowers are shaped. I don't know what kind of nectar they give off, but like hummingbirds are obsessed. So I bought them for the hummingbirds. And I saw one the other day, so they're definitely coming around and like, you know, loving on them. The Calais I propagated has not flowered yet, but I don't know if it flowers once and then never again. So testing the waters out because the other one that's flowering is new. Let's see. I have to talk about pet friendliness. So if you have pets, if you don't have pets, you can fast forward this part. But if you have pets, you have to consider like, if it's something they can reach, can they eat it? If it's going to make them sick if they try to eat it, I would put it either on a higher shelf or just don't buy it. For instance, dumb cane. I don't know if you know what that is. If not, I will like insert a picture or something or a definition down at the bottom. Dumb cane, especially, it's very toxic for cats. The cats will still try to eat it anyway, Thankfully, my friend who had Dumpcane and was giving it to us warned us, but the cat ate some of it, like bit some of it, and got super sick. So I was like, and they were like, we put it somewhere the cat couldn't even reach, and she decided that that was the place that she was going to go, and she was going to snack on that. We were wondering why she was acting funny, and then we realized there were bite marks in our Dumpcane. So think about that. Does your cat like to climb? So even if like you put it in a high spot, does your cat like to climb? Are they going to try to get to it? Peanut's favorite thing, which is, she's my cat, Peanut's favorite thing is try to eat the dill. I don't think it's going to make her super sick, but I yell at her every time she tries to do it. And she only goes outside, because the dill is outside, when I'm home, or like when somebody else is home and can watch her, because she will try to eat the dill. I don't know what her obsession is, specifically with the dill. My mom is like, oh, well maybe, and I'm like, no, 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 no. There are tons of other plants that she could try to munch on, but it is specifically that one that she's like, I want to eat this. It's not catgrass, so I don't understand. You have to think about pests. So I was talking about like all the critters and stuff earlier. So there was an incident when I first like started like gardening and all these plants together and wanted to plant seeds and do transplants and all that stuff, which I can talk about if you want me to. But the incident was that at first we were worried about the wasp nests because we had like a ton of them because like the decks are wooden. And so like we had a ton that were like sitting up here, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I found like a homemade remedy. I think it was, I don't want to say it was citrus. I feel like it was mint and soap and something and water, I think, but I could be wrong. I'll look on one of the bottles and then put like what the mixture is. That kept them away. Then carpenter bees decided they wanted to build a nest right above the door that's like right here. So I was like, could you not? And basically there's like a citrus and water and something else. Again, I'll put the recipes down below in the description, but it kept them away too. But then we realized that they were fighting for territory. So like every time we came out here, it was like just a mad rush for us to like try to get out here and like do something and like try to figure out when they're not there. And then they'd come and like harass us, and the cat would try to eat it. It was a whole ordeal, which like I have Peanut, but then my roommate in front has Alora, who's behind the camera right now, like chilling. And like Alora is determined to like, she was outside for like 3 years of her life, so I get it. But she's used to like trying to attack critters and like claim her territory, and I was like, ma'am, no, we're not doing that, because if you get stung, like ain't nobody trying to take you to the vet right now. So we like had to keep her in, so I eventually had to call pest control, because I was like, I get like the home remedies aren't working for long enough to like get rid of them, so I have to get their nest removed. So I called them and they came, and it was like, it literally took like them all 5 to 10 minutes to get rid of all the nests. And we really haven't had an issue. Like every now and then we might get like one, or we might get like a wasp that comes over here, or like, you know, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. Like when I say it was like, it looked like an all-out war was happening on our balcony, because we don't live on the very top. There's a 4th floor, but we live like on the 3rd floor, and so it was just, I was over it. Let's see. I was dealing with the tree frogs, because I'm sure people are curious. I don't really mess with them at all. Again, Alora has tried to like attack one and bring it in the house, and I have like screamed at her, and like she tried to bring it in the house, and I screamed at her again, and she dropped it, and thankfully the little baby was alive. The bad part is then Peanut decided that she was going to go investigate because it was hopping around, and I was like, whose child are you? Because you know that's not okay. And so that was an all-out battle too of me just yelling at her to like get away from the frog, because they like to chill up here and hide away from like, you know, predators that are out there, because like we have hawks, and like I don't know what else is out there that eats a tree frog besides all the other birds, which is probably just all other birds, but they're like, he's just chilling. And they typically like the greenhouse because there's always water in it, because I'm usually propagating, and it's like a very cheap IKEA like little greenhouse. I used it for books for a long time when I moved out on my own, and then I decided to start using it for plants. So, which I think is its original like intention, but right now there's a lemon tree growing in there. There's 2 avocado seeds that are sitting in water. There is some bok choy propagating, and there used to be, I think, another lemon tree. Maybe there's like, so I used to get meals from Splendid Spoon, so I would rinse out their containers, and I would just use that for like tiny pots when I'm first starting out, like any kind of seeds or any tiny plants, or any propagations or anything. So I was like, I don't remember what's in that one because, of course, I have markers now of like what I have in each pot, but at the time I did not. And if you hear that scratching, that is Peanut. Let's see. Stop, child. No, I think that's it. If you want me to talk about propagation, if you want me to talk about how I do like what I do, that's a little bit more sustainable because I make my own vegetable stock. I have completely stopped buying it. Other people in the house still buy it, but like I'm like, I can make my own and I can freeze it and like be done. Hi, boo boo. And then I make my own compost. It's in a very small container right now because we don't have room. If I showed you the balcony, you'd be like, yeah, you don't have room. I have a portable greenhouse. I have not put that up yet because I don't think it's time, but I'm sure as it starts to get a little bit cooler, I might like, as things start to die back, I'll probably start moving stuff I'll set up the portable greenhouse and like move things into that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you. See you next time.